Hi, and welcome to Missouri Outdoors. I'm Kip Woods, and today we're in southeast Missouri along the St. Francis River near Fredericktown. This is Millstream Gardens Conservation Area. It's home to some of the best whitewater kayaking in the Midwest. And during the next half hour, we'll not only take you on a tour of this area, but we'll also travel throughout Missouri and bring you these stories. Take a look just over the horizon as the Show Me State's great outdoors comes shining through in a splashing display of beauty. Experience the bright light and cool waters as Mother Nature's dazzling array of colors comes to life right before your eyes. Then, they're destructive, they're headed our way, and they can't be stopped. Find out if there's any way we can protect ourselves from these menacing creatures. But first, it all starts right here in the Ozarks. Is it the luck of the Irish that's making these wooden barrels so popular overseas? Or is it really the result of good spirits in Scotland? We'll hammer out the details of this worldwide wood next on Missouri Outdoors.
There is something special in the Ozark Hills, something so precious and unique it draws people from all over the world. Missouri oak. Sandy Edgar and Edwin Dodson are distillers of Scotch whiskey. They've searched the world for just the right wood to cure their product, and they found it in Cuba, Missouri.
We're over here in Missouri because this is where we come to get the wood to be made up into casks for our product. Now we've found that this is the best quality wood, and this gives us the flavour that we're really looking for in our 10-year-old Glenmorangie Scotch whisky. Now we've not been able to achieve this with ordinary wood. We find that it has to be the special wood that we get from your region.
The Scotsmen have come to Cuba to visit McGinnis Wood Products, makers of some of the world's finest oak barrels.
We make a very good barrel, and we try to make a better barrel than anybody else. We strive very hard to please the customer. That always comes first. You know, you try to build a good quality product. You price it for what it should be priced at, and always be fair with the customer. That's number one. You do that regardless.
The wood product industry is a $3 billion a year business in the state of Missouri. A significant and growing portion of that business is devoted to exporting Missouri's wood overseas. Missouri Department of Conservation Forest Products Specialists Lynn Barnacle and Shelby Jones work with producers to expand their export market.
Well, several years ago, there was a research company in Scotland wanted to track trees all the way through the barrel making process. And we got involved by going out and making sure we had the trees identified correctly. And what they were interested in was to track different rates of growth on trees and how that related into the flavor of the scotch that would be produced from those barrels. But they had figured out that they really wanted the wood from the slow-growing trees because it had certain chemicals in it that would add flavor to the spirits.
Having the best wood in the world for the flavoring of spirits is just one aspect of Missouri's growing barrel-making industry. The other indispensable ingredient are the craftsmen to transform that wood into quality items for the demanding world market.
The guys do me a good job. They're all very skilled laborers. Each one in their own right has taken a lot of time. Some of our employees here have taken years to learn their skill. And they all pull together as a team, and when they pull together, they make me very proud.
A barrel making shop is called a cooperage. A barrel maker is a cooper. In the past, before plastic and cardboard, coopers were in high demand. Everything was stored in wooden barrels. Today, the cooperage industry centers around barrels for the distilled spirits business, and only a few select individuals practice this craft. Transforming Missouri oak into a high-quality barrel is not an easy job.
Basically, it comes in a log onto our yard. It's cut into staves and heading at the green mills down on premise here. Once they come into the plant here, we plane them down. They go through joiner wheels, which actually puts the flare and the angle on the staves to be built into a barrel. The staves are assembled into the barrel. The unique thing about assembling a barrel is every barrel has the same number of staves, even though the staves are all different sizes. So your barrel raiser actually hand picks the staves to fit into a tight barrel. They're drawn down tight. The charring of the inside of the barrel adds the flavor to the bourbon whiskey. It's tested and sealed. There's no seal or glue used in a barrel. It's all just wood pressure. Our biggest market is going to open up overseas. The American oak is finally coming of age in the fact that we're actually competing with the French oak barrels, which for years was thought to be the finest wine barrels in the world. We're presently selling barrels to Scotland, and we're also selling our wine sets are going to Australia, Spain, Africa. They're actually an international market now.
It's the growth of the trees. I think the climate and everything just seems to be right, and that particular wood is just exactly giving us what we're looking for, and that's why we've come all this way.
Welcome back to Millstream Gardens Conservation Area near Fredericktown. The St. Francis River cuts through the area, and although it's a short stretch, it's one of the most scenic in the state.
The team and shut-ins are the most popular attraction here, especially in the springtime when water levels are high and whitewater kayakers and canoers from throughout the Midwest come here to take part in an annual whitewater race. Paddlers attempting to float the shut-ins should be prepared with adequate experience and whitewater equipment. Extra flotation is a must. During low water conditions, the river becomes impassable by all boats, including kayaks. Millstream Gardens is located between Fredericktown and Arcadia off Highway 72 in Madison County. And if you think Millstream Gardens has some great water, wait till you see the light. It's a musical tour of some of Missouri's best water and light, and it's next on Missouri Outdoors.
Welcome back to Millstream Gardens Conservation Area in southeast Missouri. Besides these spectacular granite formations, this area offers a variety of other outdoor opportunities.
Visitors can enjoy fishing, hiking, or sharpening their archery shooting skills. A 2.5-mile hiking trail weaves its way through the area and continues into the adjoining Silver Mines Recreation Area. Portions of the trail are paved and offer scenic views of the shut-ins. Wildlife species at Millstream vary from the unusual collared lizard to the more common white-tailed deer, turkey, and squirrel. Just ahead on Missouri Outdoors, they're leaving destruction in their path and they're headed this way. Are we doomed? Can they be stopped? And is this horror story real? Stay tuned for the attack of the gypsy moth.
They escaped from the lab and started a march of destruction across the North American continent.
This sounds like the plot of a Hollywood sci-fi movie, but it's the real-life story of the gypsy moth, and it's heading our way. Brought into the United States from France shortly after the Civil War, the gypsy moth escaped from a lab in Massachusetts. Finding North America's trees and climate to its liking, it continues to spread at a rate of 5 to 10 miles a year, leaving a trail of deforestation in its wake.
It took a while. It kind of sneaks up on you. You don't notice it at first. And then one day you go out and there aren't any leaves left and the trees are dying and falling.
But how can something so small cause so much destruction?
When gypsy moths come in, the caterpillars come in and start chewing on the leaves, and that results in defoliation of the tree. The trees naturally try to reproduce leaves. When in doing so, they use up starch reserves, nutrient reserves they would be using during that growing season to put on additional growth. As a consequence of that, the trees become much more vulnerable to becoming sickened and weakened and possibly end up in death.
The arrival of the gypsy moth in Missouri could affect more than our forest ecosystems. Other states that have seen major infestations have experienced problems with water quality, lowered real estate values, and reduced tourism. Now that you know some of what this pest can do, it's time to get to know it. The annual life cycle of the gypsy moth has 4 stages: the egg phase, the larval or caterpillar stage, the pupal stage, and the adult phase. But one stage causes the most damage.
The caterpillars hatch from gypsy moth egg masses and climb the trees to feed on the leaves. And while the caterpillars prefer the foliage of species like oak and river birch, willow, and other hardwoods, they are known to feed on over 500 species of plants. These early caterpillar stages are virtual feeding machines. They alternate between feeding and resting on a 24-hour cycle.
Their natural means of transportation is wind-powered. Caterpillars hang by silken threads and are carried by spring winds anywhere from the next tree to the next county. But its second method of transportation is of greater concern.
Egg masses are deposited not only on houses and trees and rocks, but also on mobile homes, outdoor furniture, recreational vehicles. These items can be transported quite easily and frequently from infested areas in the northeastern United States to areas like Missouri, which are currently non-infested.
This accidental transportation can establish new isolated populations well ahead of the front line that is creeping west across the east-central United States.
If we can continue to eliminate small infestations early, we can keep gypsy moth from becoming established within the state of Missouri for another 30 or more years.
In 1992, an isolated infestation was discovered just 35 miles from Branson in northern Arkansas.
It's thought that they probably have eradicated it, although it's tremendous costs of over $1 million to Arkansas alone.
But there's still time for a happy ending to this story, and it starts with early detection.
The gypsy moth survey is extremely important in Missouri to detect the early stages of an infestation. In 1995, over 12,500 traps were set in the state. traps use a pheromone lure that attracts the male moths. It allows us to determine what type of management plan we need to utilize to deal with a small infestation. Landowners may also help with survey by allowing department personnel on their property to place traps and also reporting any unusual defoliation that they see on their land.
You could be the hero of this story. Learn to identify the gypsy moth in each of its life stages. Examine your car, RV, boat, trailers, and all outside gear after returning from an infested area for egg masses. Draft a tree stand management plan for your land today. Private and government foresters can aid in creating and instituting a course of action that can improve overall forest health while reducing the chances of severe defoliation when the moth arrives. If we plan and act now, we may be able to reduce the gypsy moth's potential impact on the region. The longer we can keep the gypsy moth out of Missouri, the more time we will have to develop better tools to fight them. So next time you're admiring the wooded splendor that is Missouri, remember how fragile this beauty is and how quickly it can disappear. Let's work together to make sure this story can have a happy ending.
Well, that's it for another week. As we leave you today, we'll take one last look at Millstream Gardens Conservation Area. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, if you get the chance, why not head out and enjoy Missouri's outdoors. That's where I'll be. See you next time.
You can continue to enjoy Missouri's outdoors year-round by borrowing conservation videos and audio cassettes at your local public library. Also, enjoy reading the Missouri Conservationist magazine. It's free to adult Missouri residents. Outside Missouri, the cost is just $5. For information on other publications and videos, contact your local Missouri Department of Conservation office or Nature Center or on the internet. You can also write us at Missouri Outdoors, Post Office Box 180, Jefferson City, Missouri 65102.